Welcome to Warm Tea Steam on a Winter Window, a soothing sleep story crafted to gently ease you into a restful night. If you are enjoying this calming experience and would like to discover more stories like this, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for a peaceful library of sleep-inducing tales. Before we step into Thomas's cozy home studio and the tranquil beauty of a winter afternoon, we will start with a short breathing guidance to help you unwind and prepare for deep relaxation. If you'd prefer to drift directly into the story, you can find the chapter timestamps conveniently located in the video description below. Now, allow yourself to settle into a comfortable position. Feel the support of your bed or chair beneath you, letting your body feel heavy and grounded. Perhaps adjust your blankets to find the perfect level of cozy warmth. This is your sanctuary, a moment to release the day's demands and welcome stillness. Imagine the soft glow of lamplight in Thomas's studio and the gentle hush of snowfall outside, creating a haven of tranquility around you. Let's take a calming breath together. Inhale slowly and deeply through your nose, feeling the air fill your lungs gently and naturally. Then exhale slowly through your mouth, like a soft, warm sigh escaping. With each breath, invite a sense of ease to spread through your body, releasing any lingering tension. Visualize the warmth of the tea mug in your hands, radiating a comforting heat that melts away any stress. Feel your shoulders soften and your muscles relax. If your thoughts begin to wander, that's perfectly natural. Simply acknowledge them gently, like snowflakes drifting past a window, and then softly guide your attention back to your breath or the sound of my voice. There is nothing to strive for, nothing to do, except simply listen and allow the story to gently carry you towards sleep. Feel the quiet rhythm of the snowfall outside Thomas's window and the steady ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway. Let these gentle rhythms soothe your mind and lead you to a place of peaceful slumber. Now, let's begin our journey into Thomas's tranquil world, where the simple magic of a winter afternoon awaits to guide you into a serene and restful sleep. Chapter 1. Choosing the Tea Leaves. The morning light was soft and diffused, filtering through the sheer curtains in Thomas's home studio, painting the room in gentle hues. Outside, a blanket of fresh snow muffled the sounds of the world, creating an atmosphere of profound quiet. Inside, the only sound was the subtle ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway, a rhythmic pulse that marked the slow, peaceful passage of time. Thomas moved with a deliberate slowness this morning, drawn to the familiar comfort of his tea ritual. He approached the wooden tea caddy, its surface smooth and warm beneath his fingertips. Lifting the lid, the delicate aroma of chamomile and lavender wafted upwards, a fragrant promise of calm and relaxation. He closed his eyes for a moment, inhaling deeply, allowing the soothing scent to fill his senses. It was a scent that spoke of quiet evenings and peaceful moments, a gentle invitation to slow down and be present. Carefully, he selected a small scoop and reached for the pouch of loose-leaf tea. The leaves were a mixture of pale yellows and greens, flecked with tiny dried flowers. He ran his fingers over the delicate papery texture of the leaves, feeling their lightness and fragility. Each leaf held the potential for warmth and comfort, a small treasure trove of peaceful moments waiting to be unlocked. He measured out the tea leaves with precision, a mindful act in itself. The soft clinking of the scoop against the ceramic caddy, the quiet rustle of the tea leaves as they settled into the scoop, these small sounds were magnified in the stillness of the morning. He appreciated the simplicity of the task, the focus it brought to the present moment. There was a quiet satisfaction in preparing for this simple pleasure. Placing the measured tea leaves into a small, woven tea infuser, he admired the intricate weave of the basket. It was a handcrafted piece, a reminder of the beauty and artistry that could be found in everyday objects. The infuser felt light in his hand, yet sturdy, ready to contain the fragrant leaves and release their soothing essence into the hot water. He placed the infuser gently in his favorite ceramic mug, a deep, comforting blue that always seemed to enhance the warmth of the tea. The kettle, filled with fresh cold water, sat patiently on the stove. Thomas turned the burner to a gentle medium heat, knowing that patience was key to a perfect cup of tea. There was no rush, no urgency. The morning stretched ahead, a canvas of quiet time waiting to be filled with simple, peaceful moments. He leaned against the counter, watching the kettle, anticipating the gentle song it would soon sing, a prelude to the warmth and tranquility that awaited. The kitchen, bathed in soft morning light and filled with the promise of chamomile and lavender, was a haven of calm, a perfect setting for the quiet ritual of tea-making. He felt a gentle sense of anticipation building within him, a quiet eagerness for the warmth of the tea, the comforting aroma, and the peaceful moment it would create. It was more than just a drink. It was a ritual of self-care, a small act of kindness he offered himself each morning, a moment to pause, to breathe, and to appreciate the simple beauty of everyday life. He closed his eyes again, breathing in the fragrant air, and felt a sense of quiet gratitude settle over him, a gentle warmth spreading through his chest. The day was beginning peacefully, one gentle moment at a time. Chapter 2. The Kettle's Gentle Song. A subtle shift in the kitchen's soundscape announced the kettle's awakening. A low hum, barely audible at first, began to emanate from the stove, a gentle vibration that resonated through the quiet room. Thomas, who had been idly sketching by the window, paused, his pencil hovering above the paper. He turned his attention to the sound, recognizing it as the prelude to the kettle's full-throated song. The hum grew steadily, deepening in tone, a peaceful, rhythmic drone that filled the silence. He watched as tiny beads of condensation began to form on the window pane, the cool glass responding to the increasing warmth of the kitchen. The outside world, already muted by the snow, seemed to soften further, blurring into impressionistic shapes and colors. The snow-laden branches of the garden trees became hazy outlines, the sharp edges of the winter landscape softened by a veil of moisture. Inside, the air grew subtly warmer, a gentle embrace that chased away the lingering chill of the morning. The humming of the kettle deepened further, transforming into a low, resonant rumble. It was a sound that spoke of contained energy, of water slowly reaching its boiling point, gathering momentum for its transformation into steam. Thomas found himself drawn to the rhythm of the sound, a natural, unhurried pace that mirrored the quiet rhythm of his own heart. He set aside his sketchbook and moved closer to the stove, drawn by the comforting presence of the humming kettle. He glanced at the kettle's spout, noticing the first wisps of steam begin to escape, delicate trails of vapor that danced in the air. The subtle scent of warm metal mingled with the floral notes of the tea leaves, creating a comforting and familiar aroma. He imagined the water within the kettle, gently swirling and heating, each molecule gaining energy, preparing to release its warmth and essence. There was a quiet magic in this everyday process, a subtle alchemy transforming water into something more. The kettle's song reached a new pitch, the hum evolving into a soft whistle, a gentle melodic sound that filled the kitchen with warmth and cheer. It was a sound that signaled readiness, a clear indication that the water had reached its perfect temperature. Thomas smiled, a soft, contented expression spreading across his face. The kettle's gentle song was a comforting signal, announcing the imminent arrival of his peaceful tea moment. He carefully reached for the kettle's handle, wrapped in a soft woven cloth to protect his hand from the heat. The kettle felt substantial in his hand, warm and reassuringly solid. He lifted it from the stove, the gentle whistle ceasing abruptly, replaced by the soft gurgling of the water within. The kitchen seemed to hold its breath for a moment, anticipating the next step in the ritual. As he moved to pour the hot water into his mug, he paused, noticing the condensation on the window pane had intensified, creating swirling patterns of moisture. The outside world was now even more abstract, a soft watercolor painting of winter whites and muted grays. The steam from the kettle brushed against his face, a gentle, warm caress. He closed his eyes again, inhaling deeply, feeling a sense of deep relaxation settle over him. The kettle's gentle song had filled the kitchen with a sense of calm, a peaceful prelude to the warmth and tranquility that awaited in his steaming mug of tea. Chapter 3. Steaming the Mug. With deliberate slowness, Thomas raised the kettle and began to pour the steaming water into his waiting mug. The sound was soft and soothing, a gentle gurgling as the hot water flowed over the tea infuser, awakening the dormant leaves within. He watched as the pale liquid began to deepen in color, transforming into a light amber hue as the chamomile and lavender released their fragrant essence. The steam billowed upwards, swirling and curling, carrying with it the comforting aromas of the herbs. He paused mid-pour, allowing the mug to fill about halfway. Then, in a gentle circular motion, he swirled the hot water within, preheating the ceramic to enhance the warmth of the tea. He felt the smooth surface of the mug become pleasantly warm in his hands, a tangible connection to the comforting heat it held. The steam danced upwards, a fragrant veil that softened the edges of the room and created a sense of intimate warmth. Carefully, he completed pouring the water, filling the mug almost to the brim. The tea infuser bobbed gently in the steaming liquid, releasing a steady stream of amber-colored tea. He watched as the steam continued to rise, creating swirling patterns that shifted and changed with each passing moment. The fragrant aroma intensified, filling the kitchen with a calming and comforting presence. He closed his eyes again, inhaling deeply, letting the soothing scent wash over him. He noticed the steam gently misting the window pane directly in front of him, creating new, ephemeral patterns on the glass. The swirls and trails of condensation seemed to mimic the patterns of the steam rising from his mug, a subtle mirroring of warmth and moisture. He watched, fascinated by the ever-changing designs, finding a quiet beauty in their fleeting existence. The outside world, seen through the misty window, seemed even further removed, cocooning him in a world of warmth and tranquility. Taking a moment, he brought the steaming mug closer to his face, letting the warm steam gently caress his cheeks and eyelids. He felt a subtle release of tension in his forehead and jaw, a gentle softening in his facial muscles. The warmth was soothing and comforting, a gentle invitation to relax and let go of any lingering stress. He savored the feeling, allowing the warmth to penetrate and ease any tightness. He gently lowered the mug, holding it carefully in both hands. The ceramic felt warm and substantial, grounding him in the present moment. He noticed the delicate patterns on the mug's surface, small hand-painted flowers that added a touch of gentle beauty to the simple object. He appreciated the craftsmanship, the quiet artistry that went into even the most everyday items. He took a small sip of the tea, letting the warm liquid flow gently across his tongue and down his throat. The taste was mild and soothing, a delicate blend of floral and herbal notes. He savored the warmth as it spread through him, comforting sensation that radiated outwards from his chest. He closed his eyes again, focusing on the gentle warmth, the fragrant aroma, and the peaceful stillness of the moment. The steaming mug in his hands was a source of simple comfort, a gentle anchor in the quiet rhythm of the winter afternoon. Chapter 4. Watching the Snowfall. Settling into his armchair by the window, Thomas cradled the warm mug of tea in his hands. The gentle heat radiated outwards, warming his fingertips and palms, a comforting sensation in the cool winter air. He gazed out at the snow-covered garden, a landscape transformed into a monochrome world of white and soft grays. The snowfall continued, a steady, silent descent of delicate flakes. He focused his attention on the snowflakes themselves, noticing the intricate patterns each one displayed. Some were perfectly symmetrical stars, six-pointed crystals of exquisite detail. Others were more irregular, clusters of tiny ice particles clinging together in unique formations. Each flake was a miniature work of art, a testament to the delicate beauty of nature, even in the midst of winter's quiet stillness. He watched as they drifted and twirled, carried by unseen currents of air, each snowflake following its own unique path to the ground. They danced and fluttered, a silent ballet against the backdrop of the snow-covered trees and shrubs. The movement was slow and graceful, a mesmerizing spectacle of quiet beauty. He found himself drawn into their gentle dance, his mind quieting, his thoughts slowing to match the tranquil rhythm of the falling snow. Snowflakes landed softly on the windowsill, momentarily distinct before melting slowly, their delicate forms disappearing into droplets of water. He observed the process of transformation from intricate crystal to liquid form, a gentle reminder of the ephemeral nature of beauty. Even in their brief existence, each snowflake held a moment of perfect, intricate design. The world outside was hushed and still, muffled by the thick blanket of snow. The usual sounds of the neighborhood, distant traffic, the rustle of leaves, bird song were muted, absorbed by the soft, absorbent snow. The silence was profound and peaceful, broken only by the occasional soft sigh of the wind and the gentle ticking of the grandfather clock within the house. Inside, the warmth of the tea spread through him, a comforting contrast to the winter landscape outside. He felt a sense of cozy contentment envelop him, a feeling of being safe and sheltered in his warm home, watching the peaceful snowfall unfold. The gentle rhythm of the falling snow, the warmth of the tea, the quiet stillness of the room all combined to create a haven of tranquility, a sanctuary from the outside world. He took another slow sip of his tea, savoring the gentle warmth and fragrant aroma. The chamomile and lavender soothed his senses, calming his mind and body. With each breath, he felt himself relax deeper, sinking further into the comfortable armchair, his muscles softening, his thoughts quieting. The snowfall outside continued its gentle, silent descent, a peaceful, mesmerizing display of winter's quiet beauty. He felt a deep sense of calm and gratitude settle over him, a quiet appreciation for this simple moment of peace in his day. Chapter 5. Reflections in the Tea. As the afternoon light softened further, casting long shadows across the snow-covered garden, Thomas found himself nearing the end of his cup of tea. He tilted the mug gently, watching the remaining liquid swirl and settle, revealing the damp tea leaves at the bottom. The steeped leaves were a darker shade now, their forms unfurled and softened by the hot water. He gazed at the patterns formed by the tea leaves, finding shapes and stories within their tangled forms. He saw outlines that resembled miniature landscapes, tiny hills and valleys formed by the damp leaves. His imagination began to wander gently, tracing the contours of these miniature terrains, letting his mind drift into peaceful reverie. There were no clear images, just subtle suggestions, open to interpretation, inviting quiet contemplation. The warmth of the tea had seeped deep into him, a comforting glow that radiated outwards from his core. He felt a deep sense of relaxation, his body heavy and at ease in the armchair. The gentle rhythm of his breathing was slow and even, mirroring the peaceful stillness of the winter afternoon. The outside world seemed far away, its demands and distractions fading into insignificance. He noticed the grandfather clock in the hallway chime softly, marking the passage of another hour. The sound was gentle and melodic, a reassuring reminder of the steady flow of time, unhurried and peaceful. The chiming faded into the quiet stillness once more, leaving only the soft sounds of the winter afternoon. He lifted the mug to take the very last sip of tea, savoring the lingering warmth and delicate flavor. The mug was now almost empty, its ceramic cool to the touch. He held it for a moment longer, appreciating the simple comfort it had provided, the quiet moments of peace it had helped create. He felt a sense of gratitude for this simple ritual, for the warmth and tranquility it offered. Setting the empty mug on the small table beside his armchair, he leaned back, closing his eyes for a moment. The quiet of the afternoon settled around him like a soft blanket, enveloping him in a sense of calm and contentment. He felt a deep sense of peace and well-being, a quiet satisfaction with the simple joys of the day. Opening his eyes again, he glanced out at the snow-covered garden. The snowfall had slowed, the flakes drifting down more sparsely now, like gentle farewells. The soft afternoon light cast a warm golden hue across the snow, creating a scene of serene beauty. He felt a deep sense of gratitude for the beauty of the winter landscape, for the quiet stillness of the day, for the simple comfort of his cup of tea. The reflections in the tea leaves had faded, but the peaceful feeling they inspired lingered, a quiet sense of inner calm that settled deep within him, a gentle promise of restful evening ahead.